to answer all your questions, my questions. This conversation is really just to provide knowledge and to bring a kind of cohesion. I think it's educational, is what it really is.
Yeah, I like that cohesion because a lot of times that's what we're missing. So, again, I am the licensed professional. I've been licensed for 25 years, and just like anybody that's been in this profession, we all have started doing hair before we got a license.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that actually making that step to take yourself into the professional realm that just solidifies it in another way. And then that wasn't enough for me. So I needed to know more. I had to dig deeper. I'm a nerd at heart. And so I became a trichologist. And most people say, what? So a trichologist is someone who just studies hair a little bit more in depth, and you're able to address hair from a more medical perspective. So you weren't exactly wrong when you said healthcare. So trichology is the study of the hair and the scalp, and trichology bridges the gap between medical and beauty. And that bridge is important because, like you said, it's a cohesive conversation. And it's the disconnect of the medical world, the business world, the beauty world, as well as the consumer world that leaves us all in dismay. And it leaves us in a place of not really hearing each other or understanding each other. So
exactly,
this is a very important conversation. And for it to be episode 1, like, we are going to have so much fun. But there's some things that I want you to know because, again, Tanya gave an introduction of herself and she said, she's not the professional, right? And no, she's not the licensed professional on this chat, but she is a total DIY girl. Yep. And so what you'll find very often is we will have a bottle of wine because, as Tanya likes to say, great conversations are had over wine. Yep. And these great conversations led her to begin her own wine line.
Yeah, we're still in progress and in production, but during COVID, I started making my own wine and sharing it with friends and family. So you, as my friend and family, get to enjoy and partake as many times as you want.
And is it so fun. So today we're having a Pinot Grigio.
Yes.
So just so you guys know, so we'll always give you what we're having that day as well. So today is a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah. So I'm working on getting distribution and all the licensing to make it more legal.
Yes.
So
yes.
And then I can share my wine with everyone.
Yeah, so you guys will be able to partake as well. But another thing that I want you to know is when she says she's a DIY girl, she is a DIY girl. So she couldn't just take her home and start making wine. No. What is a winemaker without a wine cellar?
You have to put it somewhere, right?
Yeah, so she decided to make the wine cellar, people. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman made her own wine cellar. And because, again, as the friends and family camaraderie that we have, I knew this wine cellar when it was a closet in her basement. Yep. That she transformed, and oh my goodness, every time I think about it. So we will film episodes live from the wine cellar as well, so you guys will get to really be in as much dismay about this wine cellar as I am. But yes, today we are filming live from the Asha's coaching studio. And that was important for me to put together because what you guys will be able to partake in the very near future is we did film our hair transformation with Tanya. And I thought it was important to have a space and a place that I could create and host live classes and just show and share a little bit more. And in doing this just in my salon space or where I service clients that I am making, where I'm making money, it's not as feasible or ideal because when you are really wanting to use your creative juices, like you need a different space so that you can have all this filming set up, and you need more room, and you need to be able to make sure that the lighting is a little bit different, and you just need to have a setup to allow people to be able to tune in live to you and see that. In the salon, you need your space to cater to your client. And you can't really cater to both at the same time and not really give everybody what they want. I know for myself, people complain a lot on my TikTok and they're like, oh, we don't see the finished product. Like, you always just. And I'm like, all I'm doing is filming myself at work. Like, I do not have the space or the time, and neither do my clients, for me to do a photo shoot at the end of their services. Like, they've been here. It's time to go. The next client is coming. Like, we got things to do. There's a cleanup process. COVID makes the cleanup even more important than it ever was. And it wasn't that I never cleaned up before, but it's just not feasible to do that. Whereas having a space to really just cater to you guys watching what I do or seeing the details in what I do. Because Tanya can tell you, even when we film, like, we had to stop a couple of times just so that the cameraman could have a better angle.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
So we took like a service that may have taken 2 hours in the salon, and we were there all day. Like all day. It was time to go eat dinner when we finished.
It was all
seriously,
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more the production of it all. So I mean,
exactly. So it's serious. This hair game is totally serious, and I think that, like I said, there's a cohesion that just doesn't exist. So we hope we can create that cohesion. I think we will too. I think we will. So the first thing, Tanya really came up with some things that she really wanted to know the answers to, and I'm like, hey, I got them. And also, we want you guys to know, like, this podcast is not just going to be me and her. We're going to bring in some guests. We're going to bring in people that have created product lines, skincare lines. We're going to have a doctor on. We're going to have a couple of doctors on. We're going to have some celebrity stylists. We're just really going to take this conversation to the place that it needs to be, so that the cohesion can at least be had in this conversation. And we hope that this conversation sparks more conversations and spreads. And so we ask you to click like, comment, and subscribe. Yes. To the YouTube channel, as we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much in advance.
Yes, thank you very much in advance. But
so getting into some of the questions, when we talk about hair care and people who like me and like people our color, African American women, I think we've grown up with the thought process that you can't wash your hair so frequently. I grew up knowing that I needed to wash my hair every other week. Every 2 weeks, go to the hairstylist. So what, in your opinion, how often should we be washing our hair?
Excellent question.
No, that's the wrong one.
Okay.
We'll get it together.
Yes, this is the reason why this is episode 1. So all the people that rock with us from day one, you will be able to tell the story about how I pushed the wrong button. And I will be thoroughly entertained. However, that's an excellent question. And I think it's important the way you ask that question. Yeah. Because, people could just say, so how often should I shampoo my hair? But there's a bigger conversation that happens in our community. It's like, okay, she shampoos her hair every day. And there's a misconception. I think a lot more people think that they shampoo their hair every day more than they actually do.
I agree.
However, when it comes to us, we have been led to believe that if we shampooed more, our hair would not survive. And what I first ask people when they ask me that question as a stylist when they come in the salon, the first thing I ask them is I say, what part of your body do you not cleanse regularly? And when I give them that to think about, it helps them to receive the information I give them next. Because if I were to just answer the question, they might cut me off or shut down what I'm saying. So when you talk about shampooing your hair, you're also shampooing your scalp. Your scalp is skin. We bathe daily because our skin has oil glands, has sweat glands. Your scalp has the same thing. It has the oil glands, it has the sweat glands. And that's what creates that buildup or that attraction to the dirt and the oils and things that we want to wash off our skin so it can feel better. But there's something bigger that's happening. When you are actually shampooing your scalp or you are washing your body, you are creating blood flow. So you're helping to keep the skin healthy. So what happens is when you are not doing that regularly, you're not keeping that skin as healthy. So I literally know about people who go months without washing their hair. And when I say months, I mean like I know people that they will get a sewing and they will keep it in for 6 months and they're like, oh, I don't wash my hair
while braids too.
Yeah, that's another one. Braids too. They feel like, well, why do I need to wash my hair? Because your scalp needs that blood flow and that stimulation. So when you start cosmetology school and they teach you how to shampoo, they teach you not to scratch your scalp with your nails. And African American stylists, the first thing they do is they say, don't listen to that.
Really?
And that's amazing. Now, the reason why they're telling you not to do that is the same reason why you tell your child with eczema, stop scratching. You are breaking the skin. That's the premise behind it. Now, does your scalp need to be scratched or stimulated or get that itch off? Definitely. But there's a way to do it. And so when you talk about how often to shampoo, don't just think about the shampoo process. You have to think every time I shampoo, I have to condition. The conditioning process is when you give back. So you have to cleanse it because you have to remove the debris, the dirt, and the oil so that it can accept the conditioner. Right. So if you're focused on these two things happening simultaneously, you're going to have healthy hair. The problem becomes people want to wash, and that's why as stylists we always say shampoo, because when you wash your clothes, you're taking a detergent and you're scrubbing and you're manipulating and you're just disturbing the fibers vigorously. If you shampoo your hair, you're doing none of that. You're taking a cleansing agent and you're cleaning off the scalp. You are cleaning the hair from the debris, dirt, and oil, and you're allowing the fabric or the fiber of the hair to stay intact so that now you can go in with your conditioner and you can replenish.
So if I'm hearing what you're saying, I should wash my hair as often as I wash my body?
Not necessarily. So the reason for that is let's keep it real, right? Some people take showers twice a day. Like if you have a job that like a construction worker, they might take the shower before they leave for work, and they definitely get in the shower again before when they come home. If you're a doctor, you're showering regularly, especially if you are an ER doctor or even a surgeon, right? Like, so there are certain things that you're gonna do where you're just working up more sweat and oils to the body, right? Because even for those people that may not have these jobs that do this, but they might sweat more regularly, like that's that person that they're gonna go into the bathroom more often and they're gonna bring their deodorant to work because they gotta make sure they get their underarms because they like that deodorant I put on this morning is gone. Whereas you have people like myself that we have very dry skin, right? So if you have dry skin, your skin is not going to be as oily. It's not going to be as sweaty and built up, right? And so the thought process is according to your needs.
Okay.
But when you're talking about your hair and your scalp, and specifically, like you worded that question very well, for us African Americans, who is doing all of that on a daily basis. Like, we're just not doing it because, you know, if you want to wear your hair pressed out and you're natural, and let's pretend like your hair is halfway down your back, you know you're not doing that on a daily basis. And it's okay if you don't. So you want to think more about making sure the scalp stays stimulated and making sure that the hair stays replenished. So the conditioning. Okay. So if you did this once a week, because like I shared with you, our counterparts are not doing this every day either.
No, they're not.
They really aren't. And the popularity of what's called a dry shampoo.
That was my next question.
Exists. And that's what the dry shampoo is about. The dry shampoo just goes in and absorbs some of that oil. It absorbs some of that sweat that may be on the scalp, so that now the hair doesn't have that extra greasy feel and effect. But just like a person that, like I said, they go in the bathroom and they refresh, you know, their underarms and put on more deodorant. They're not taking another bath again. Right. So there are things and ways, but again, you just don't want to be that girl who like, oh no, I haven't shampooed my hair in 3 months. And I can tell. So
it's basically a case by case, person by person kind of thing based on what you need.
Somewhat. But if, again, once a week, we're going to say is a good rule of thumb. Okay. Every 2 weeks can be acceptable as well. Okay. And the reason why when a person tells me like, oh, I don't, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, I can tell. Usually this person, the reason why I can tell before they told me that, like I'm looking at their skin, right? On their face. Your face is your first impression to you. Yeah. And if you've got long hair, meaning like even if you're wearing these braids, all of this that's happening in the scalp, this dirt, this bacteria, all that's growing, it transfers to your face. So there's these little bumps that come with that. That skin is just
skin crawl.
And that's usually what's really happening. If you were to put them under a scope or a certain type of lighting, and what I mean by a certain type of lighting, like that lighting where you can see the microscopic organisms on there. Yeah. It's real. The bacteria, did it stop recording?
It sure did. But at least it's recording here.
So we are going to check this.